So what I want to talk about is one of the biggest things that are going to help you to improve your Google Ads, and that's going to be the best ways to reduce your cost per click in Google Ads. There's a number of ways that you can do this, but what I want to talk about is probably the four main ways that you can improve your cost per click and get that lower. And the aim is not only to lower your cost per click, but also to make sure that the quality of traffic that you're getting is of a good standard. So let me just make sure that we're following some sort of structure. So the first way is not just about getting, like I said, clicks, it's about getting quality traffic. And improving your quality score is one of the ways that we can potentially do that. So let me make sure, let me just move something over, then make a slight adjustment here. So, quality score, what this does, it's looking at a number of different things. So, you want to make sure aiming for quality score at least a 5 out of 10. Well, that means that if you're getting 5 out of 10, when your keywords, when you're bidding at the auction, Google is looking at a number of different things and it will give you a quality score. So, it's looking at the ad relevancy, landing page experience, expected click-through rate. Once you dial these in, you'll start to get a quality score. Now, sometimes Google just won't give you a quality score, but a lot of times it will. So it will be based at the keywords that you're targeting. And then from there, you can look at what your score is. And like I said, the aim is to get at least, once you get a 5 out of 10, pretty good. Anything above that is going to be a bonus. If you're targeting your brand, then obviously your quality score is going to be a 9 or a 10 out of 10. But what you're trying to do is improve the relevancy. And what we're looking at is landing page experience, ad relevancy. So obviously running your ads, headlines, descriptions. You want to make sure there's an understanding that you're basing it on the landing page or the website that you're running the traffic to. Landing page experience, obviously, when somebody's coming onto your page, you want to make sure that it's a high rate relative to the headlines and descriptions that you're writing. So everything has to be relative. If it is, then obviously, as a customer, as a potential customer, if you're targeting or if you're looking to run a search, then obviously you want to make sure that that search is relevant to the landing page that you're coming through. And then you're looking at your expected click-through rate. So make sure that everything matches. There's a clear reasons why somebody's clicking on your ad, and then from there, that whole kind of customer journey is relevant. Next one, test broad match keywords. You should be really using broad match keywords. And what this does, you should be testing broad with exact, and that's kind of the structure that I like to use. If you do it correctly, it will help. Like I said, it will help to lower your CPC. So what we're trying to do is give the volume, make sure we're controlling it by adding negative keywords, adding in the exact, which is the more high intent keywords based on as close as variant as people are searching. And then from there, what we're trying to do is make sure that we're giving the algorithm all the information that it needs to improve your, to improve your ads and to get a lower CPC. Target problem or solution keyword. So I want to give you an example of this. Probably the things that I'm seeing. So example, something very basic: cleansing facial wash might be an expensive keyword that you're targeting. Your CPC might be higher. But if you say found an additional keyword similar in intent or the meaning based on the keyword, so best skincare routine for oily skin may have a lower CPC. Again, remember, Google isn't so much about the keywords, it's about the meaning behind the keyword. So have that in mind and remember that what you're trying to do is look at the CPC, look at the budget, look at ways that you can improve your ads. And this is one of the best ways that we can do this. So problem-based keywords, often people early in the buying journey, but they're less competitive, cheaper to enter. So potentially that's a strategy that you may want to use for your Google ads. And diversity within your campaign type. So remember, a lot of people will start off with search and they'll just stay with search. Remember that as you're scaling, as you're vertically scaling, it might become too expensive or it might not be profitable for you to stay in just a search campaign. So what you could look to do is run different campaign touch points within the Google ad platform. Things adding in from a search campaign, you could add in shopping, performance max, demand gen. Remember, there's other parts within Google Ads that you could use to target variety of different options within the Google Ads platform. So you don't need to stick to one part of Google. You can, if you're trying to increase your visibility, you want to maybe use different parts of Google, then again, you can look at different ways that you could break out. And this is kind of more of the kind of horizontal scaling. So vertical is just increasing your prices. Horizontal is where you're adding in something like a shopping campaign or a performance max campaign, demand gen campaign. And again, remember, with all of these, what you're trying to do is make sure that you're lowering your cost per click. And these are probably the 4 best ways that you could do that within Google Ads. And it's not always about cheaper traffic, but it's about turning the traffic that you're generating, quality traffic, even if that means a little bit less volume, absolutely fine. But what you're trying to do is get enough volume coming through. But based off of that, then you're trying to make sure the quality is there. And these are probably the 4 main ways that you can improve the quality of your traffic coming through. So if you have any questions, as always, let me know. But they're probably the ways that I'm constantly looking and improving a Google Ad campaign.